Hi guys, welcome back to our young adult book review. And today I'm going to be reviewing the book Replica by Lauren Oliver.
Okay, to start off, can you tell us what that title means?
So basically, this whole book is about an institute that is creating clones, which they call replicas. Um, and basically, the whole book is about Lyra, who is a replica, and then Gemma, who kind of lives outside of that world, and she's a normal person and they cross paths eventually.
With this whole clone thing, what would you classify this as? What genre would you put this book into?
I think it might be dystopian, but it is set in like our time. It's not like really in the future. So I think it's dystopian because it's something that like has been attempted, like they've cloned sheeps and things like that, but it hasn't ever been to this extent. So I would think it's a dystopian book.
Okay, and you told us a little bit about the different types of characters. Who would you say the main character is, and would you say that they're your favorite? And if not, who is your favorite?
So in this book, there's two main characters who are Lyra and Gemma. And the way that the book works is that it's a flip book. So half of the book is Lyra's story. And then once you're done reading that, you can flip it over and read Gemma's story or the other way around. Or you could also like go chapter by chapter. So you read one chapter on Lyra's side, or you flip the book over and read the same chapter on Gemma's side. And I think for me, I think that Gemma was the most like interesting person to watch how like she deals with like the things that are thrown at her. But Lyra is a lot more interesting to watch how she develops, like because she is like taught to believe that she doesn't really have feelings and doesn't function as a normal person even though she does. So that's her kind of change throughout the book.
Would you say you have a least favorite character?
Um, I actually wouldn't say that I have a least favorite character because in this book there aren't really villains kind of. It's more of a journey of like kids trying to like reach conclusions about who they are and also reach conclusions about some institute that is really hidden and they don't know much about. But in the story that there are people that are like chasing after them, but I wouldn't say they're villains such as like people who are just doing their job.
All right, and with that, would you say that there's one aspect of the book that the author did an exceptional job with?
I think the author did a really good job at like leaving things out of one story that are sort of like revelations when you hit the next story. So like you'll be really confused as you read Lyra's story. And then once you go for Gemma's story and you hit the same like plot point, you'll understand why Lyra did the thing that she did or like what happens to a fuller extent.
And with those missing plot points that come up later in the other character's story, is there a main event that could possibly have happened to both of them or just either one of them that completely changed the book?
I think the most main event is when Lyra and Gemma meet because their journeys before that are like so separate and completely different that when they meet, it kind of like shows their differences and their personality, how they carry themselves, how they deal with other people, and things like that. And I think the biggest, I say the biggest episode in this book is when they figure out like what Haven, which is the institute, really is, because Lyra knows, Gemma doesn't, and Gemma knows things that Lyra doesn't know. So when at the end of the book, when they finally figure out things like they put the clues together, that's when the bigger picture comes through.
And with that, every author has some spots that they could improve on. Do you think that the author of this book had any?
Um, I would think maybe she could go into more detail about some of the surrounding characters because some of the surrounding characters, like, were a little bit flat. But maybe her doing that was necessary to make Lyra and Gemma as round of characters as they are. So maybe that isn't like necessarily a negative thing, but it's something that I would like to see more round characters like surrounding the main two.
I see. And with that, would you recommend this book to a peer?
I would recommend this book just for someone to read because it is really interesting and it raises really good questions about like identity and how different types of people function in the world.
What would you rate this book?
I think it's definitely out of 5 stars, it's 5. I would definitely read this book again. It's like really addicting read.
Would you rather have a prequel or a sequel, and why?
I think I would definitely have a sequel to see how like the two main characters function after these large revelations that they have, because the material that will be covered in a prequel pretty much is covered in the book.
All right. Well, thanks for reviewing this book today.
Thank you.